Hello and welcome to this edition of the Evening Review. My name is Taiwan Jabela, your host for tonight. Let's have a look at today's front page of Namibian Sun. Tonight in the studio we are joined by Mr. Kandy Nehova. He is a member of the Rally for Democracy and Progress, and in fact he says he is the president, the legitimate president of the party. So we'll be talking to him tonight about a host of issues. Welcome to the show, Tate.
Thank you.
Yes. So last week you issued a statement in which you were basically having a go at ECN,
yes,
saying that they have been alienating legal or appropriate representatives of your party. But at the end of the statement there, under your name, you said you're president of the party. Maybe let's start with that first. Are you president of RDP right now?
Yes, I'm the president of the Rally for Democracy and Progress.
Yes.
Elected the president for that matter.
So you and Mike Kavekotora now, he also says he's president. In fact, he's in parliament representing your party and claiming to be president also. So what happened there?
What happened is that in June 2019,
yeah.
We had a convention as usual, the RDP convention that was inconclusive.
Yeah.
There was a time when we went to elect the president,
yeah.
And we were three candidates. One of them was me, and then Mr. Kavekotora and Miriam Amtenya. Now, when you are that number,
yeah.
The successful candidate must score 51%
Yes.
of the total votes cast.
Yes.
Now, at the end of that process of election, none of us came with that number. And therefore, we were supposed to go for a second round. Normally, those who have more votes go for the last election, and the winner must score 51%. And now the convention was done in such a way that we did not even have time for that. And now from Mr. Kavekotora and the committee that was established to run the elections, they started announcing that Mike Kavekotora won. But eventually, when we went to see the scores, he did not win. He only scored 49.5%. So we were supposed. He and me were supposed to go for a second round.
Yes.
That is what the rule says. And that is the tradition in RDP.
Yes.
In 2015, a similar thing happened when we did not have the straight winner.
Yes.
On the first round. But I was first in the first round. But when we went for the second round, Mr. Nambinga won of 2 seats. So you can see,
yes.
I was first in the first round, but then in the second round I lost. That's the tradition.
Yes.
Mr. Kavekotora is claiming, I know, that he is elected because he had more numbers, more votes in the first round.
Yeah.
But he cannot understand, no, the rule says you must have 51%. That's where we were. But that is not the problem. The problem is not who is the president or who is not the president. The problem is that we have in our constitution, and that is a tradition, but it's a constitutional provision, that the director of election of RDP, we have a person called director of elections, and that person is the only person that is allowed by our law to liaise with the ECN on matters relating to state elections, all state elections. That's the only person that is allowed.
Yes.
And he was elected in 2018 for a term of office of 5 years. So he is still the authorized representative of our party that ECN, for whatever reason, does not want to accept.
I get it. Now, in 2018, was there another convention that elected that representative, or at what platform was it?
No, he was elected by the governing organ, the Central Committee. The secretaries, the heads of departments are normally elected at the Central Committee level. So he was elected there. And surprisingly, I think it will surprise you, he was elected, and Mr. Kavekotora was then at that time he was Secretary General. He gave me an appointment letter. I don't know why he should have those now. Because he's the one who wrote the appointment letter to Mr. Johnny Shekwa.
So, how do we explain this awkward situation of you saying that after the convention that did not produce an outright winner, there was a second convention which then elected you as president?
No, it was not a second convention. It was a continuation of the same convention.
Second round, basically.
That's continuation, because it was not only the president who was not elected and other leaders. It was also the most important body, the Central Committee, because RDP is governed by the Central Committee. Not by individuals. The Central Committee then decide on everything. Whether to go to election, the Central Committee might decide. Who to be our candidate for the president. Whether in our party or another parties, the Central Committee that might decide. And who to represent us in the assembly, the assembly list. It's the Central Committee that must compose. The Central Committee converted into an electoral college. They must elect democratically those on that list.
So are we going to see a similar situation like we see with the MDC of Zimbabwe, where you had the MDC version of the late Morgan Tsvangirai and then the one of Professor Ngube? Do we have an RDP of Mr. Kavekotora and the one for Mr. Nehova?
There is no such a thing, but there are no disputes. And the disputes were resolved basically by the continuation of the convention in Chiwerongo. That elected me as the president, elected the Central Committee. Mr. Kavekotora was invited to that convention, and the others. But they elected not to come there, so he's out. He's not in the picture now. RDP has a president who is Kandy Nehova.
So then, so fair enough. But let me ask you, Mr. Nehova, you were right there during the first day of the birth of RDP. And there was this euphoria, some big parties, the first real opposition that will break the backbone of SWAPO and stuff like that. And then there's been a series of events there. Dipo Mtenya faced his own problems in the party, had to be, I think, voted out. Of course, I suppose it's democracy. Then we have now this situation of two men whom I suppose love their party very much, but each one of them is claiming to be president.
Yeah.
Is this the RDP that you have envisioned when you were breaking away from SWAPO in 2006?
You see, in politics, there are so many things. There are internal dynamics in the party.
Yeah.
If you can see, here in Namibia, each party has had its problems.
Yes.
It's not only a problem of leadership, it's also the problem of organization. But regarding the beginning was good.
Yes.
When we went for the first election, 2009.
Yes.
We did very well.
Actually, yes.
Some people said we even won, but our win was taken. Remember, we went to court.
Yes.
And the court decided otherwise. But we did very well. And from there, we continued. But then, the introduction of the EVMs, electronic voting machines, almost destroyed everything.
Yes, yes.
Because there, very frankly, you cannot distinguish who is the winner and who is not, because it is the machines, the Indian machines, that decide that.
Yes.
People don't like to see it that way, but it is that way.
Yes.
SWAPO brought in electronic machines in order to ensure that they always win.
Yeah.
But that's one thing that's part of the struggle. We again went to court. The court dismissed us. Then we went again. At this time, we had it all right.
Yes.
And now, regarding the leadership at that time, Hidipo, yes, Hidipo had a problem that many people do not know. He was not well, health-wise, and decided to leave. Hidipo was not voted. We never want to vote. He came to us in the Central Committee and said, no, I'm resigning because I don't want to continue in active politics. That's what he did. And from there, we went in now, with Nambinga and others for an extraordinary convention, where Nambinga was elected.
Indeed.
But the problem did not end up there. The problem continued. But I, as one of the founder members, strived to ensure that things are done in accordance with the law. The chairperson of the subcommittee on constitution and the political program, and I thought that we were going to follow the laws and the rules to the letter, including when we go to elect.
Yes.
The law is clear. You must score 51%. Of the total votes cast.
Yes.
Nothing more, nothing less.
Nothing more, nothing
less. You
don't
score that, you cannot be president, I'm sorry.
Indeed. But now, why do is it just my mind, my fertile mind, that is giving me the impression that at your convention, your last convention, that there were also these two groups, your supporters, the supporters of Kavekotora, that there were tribal allegiances there, because even the outcome of the initial round, if you look at it, your group. I don't like talking about
my group, whatever you can call it.
But
my supporters.
Your supporters are predominantly Oshikwanyama speaking, and those are the guys that you also sort of, and then Kavekotora had. Essentially none of Ambo's supporters, mostly. Is that coincidence?
Let me tell you in short. That was not what happened there. That the convention was not it was a sham. In the first place, it took place in the open, against our law. It was supposed to be indoors, in secret. That voting took place in open. The organization was so bad That's why we were supposed to have that convention 3 days, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We actually had only 1 day to do all that. In the end, nothing was done. So with Panyamas or somebody, me, I don't know who voted for me, or with Kavekotora's ethnic group voted. Frankly, I don't know. But it seems that we had supporters across the board.
Yes.
Some from this side voting that side, from the other side voting this side.
Yeah, did.
But the whole thing was a sham. It is not a convention.
I hear you. Now, you are a decorated, how do I put it? It's not. I want to call you stalwart of the liberation struggle. You have played your role there. Your footprint will always be there insofar as your role is concerned. You were very prominent in SWAPO. You were chairperson of the National Council for 12 years. When you reflect back today and thinking about leaving SWAPO around 2006, and where you find yourself today, maybe in your personal life you're doing well, but politically you are really at the periphery now. Do you sometimes regret your decision to leave SWAPO?
No. No. The main thing in politics is not the name, the brands. SWAPO, history, SWAPO made history. We liberated this country when we were in SWAPO movement. But now we are in an independent country. We might now liberate the people from poverty and misery and all that, ignorance. That's where I had the problem of the original SWAPO, the policy. I think we started well at independence because it was consolidation. We were consolidating our independence, and we were looking this way and that way. Maybe the enemy would come back. But after that, now we look at real problems. For example, problem housing. Are we doing anything about housing? After 30 years, is it 20? Yeah. We still have squatters all over. That problem now resolved. And there is no proper policy to resolve that problem. SWAPO does not have a policy to resolve that problem. We have a problem of unemployment. Young people like you. You were lucky you were here. The others, they come from the UNAM and all that, they go on the streets. No employment. When we could have a good policy to develop the fish sector and employ probably more than 1 million just in that sector. And take the sector for agriculture, for example. We have water underground here in this country. We have Etosha aquifer. And we have one aquifer. We have water. When you have water, you can develop agriculture. Why are we not doing that? And then you see, yesterday you were here. You see the heat. We could establish here the electricity from the solar system, the solar system, proper solar system here. Because for development, the basic things, the land, we have the land. It's enough for us. We were not even supposed to waste the money to resolve these things at land conferences. No, we have enough land. We have enough water, and we can have electricity if we want. So that's the basic. Those three things you can advance. Why are we not doing that? SWAPO is not doing that. Not because they don't. They lack the capacity or the technology. They don't like that. They don't want to. They're selfish.
I hear you.
That's why you see all these scandals. I feel so ashamed when I see my colleagues doing this thing, people who were with me in this struggle. Now that is what they're doing. Or doing nothing. I don't know what is being done now. Yeah. We are going down in the drain if you are not careful.
I hear you.
And the people like you will cry.
Yes. Now, when you left SWAPO in 2006, President Nehova was also president of the party at the time.
Yeah.
And of course, a lot was said about him at the time by those of you that left the party.
Yeah.
When you think of Sam Nehova today, when the name Sam Nehova comes to your mind today, what do you think of that man whom a lot of people consider as having played a very instrumental role in the liberation struggle with others, of course? But when someone mentions that name to you, what immediately becomes your thought?
In the struggle, I worked with him in many occasions. We were together. We came here. He was elected the first president. I was elected the first chairman. Basically, number two here. The chairman of the review house. Yeah. And then Chitendero, speaker.
Yes.
And Hage Gangob, he was the prime minister and the others were ministers, but we were on top.
Yes.
I was the youngest in that group that formed the first government. I thought we did well.
Yes.
And Sam led us well from the beginning, consolidating what we have gained, and the thing kept going well.
Yes.
But somewhere there in the middle, things got going down. We had several projects. One was called mass housing disaster. People just took the advantage and stole money, swindlers. And then we had something called TPIC, nothing. Absolutely. Because the policies are not okay. The fundamental thing is that our constitution, and this is strange, our constitution advises the government to intervene in the running and planning and the managing of the economy. It is there in the Constitution, the public sector.
Yes.
And then there is also a provision for the private sector.
Yeah.
Do you know what they say? They come in the government. They say, no, the economy must run by the private sector. Where is the private sector here? Do we have a private sector? We have these people from South Africa.
Yeah.
Shoprite and all this game and all this Pupkewitz. And the South African banks were here. All these things are branches of South African banks.
Yes.
Where do we have a public sector that can run the economy here? It's a fallacy. That's where we went wrong.
Yes.
We were supposed to go, as a government, to go where the private sector cannot go.
Yes.
Run the fishing sector. Yeah. That's where the employment can be.
Yes.
The agriculture. The provision of housing.
Yes.
And sometimes they say, no, but people do not take initiative and put up the project. But for you to take initiative, you need some initial capital.
Yeah.
Where is the initial capital? There was the SME bank. They stole money. I don't know what happened today.
Yes.
It is a problem of stealing, which people call corruption. It is stealing, open stealing.
I hear you. Yeah, no.
Stealing that, let me go ahead.
Yes.
That's approved, some of these things approved in Parliament. You see this, the minister, the former minister of Fisheries.
Yes.
He was allowed by a law passed by our Parliament to do what he did.
Yeah.
Now, why is he in Parliament? Why is he in jail now? Yeah. What about the others who passed that law to give him that authority to mess up?
I hear you.
Yeah, no, this is not fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those who passed that law are to be blamed.
Yes. The last question to you, Mr. Nehova, is next month is elections.
Yeah.
And you know, as a layman person myself, I'm very much interested in how your party will approach this situation when it has two men both claiming to be president. Are you going to, are you, under your leadership, is the party going to participate in the elections, or are you having issues with ECN as far as recognition of being the head of the party is concerned?
Our party, RDP, was undermined, or is being undermined by the ECN.
Yeah.
Look, the thing is, the candidates who are going to participate in this election must be elected. Our members know that, and the voters there know that. And if the candidates who are there do not have that legal legitimacy to be a candidate, because they were put by somebody who is illegal, a fraud, what do you think of the voters? Certainly they will not vote for you. I don't know. Last time it was disastrous because ECN intervened and allowed those illegal individuals, in particular the president. Can you imagine a candidate taking 0.004%? It's a disaster because you were rejected.
Yeah.
But they don't want to see that. I'm sorry, the same may happen still, because the people, the candidates who are there, were put by an illegal person, and they were accepted illegally by ECN. So ECN will have to account for that situation.
Indeed.
For that result, but I'm not hoping anything.
Indeed. Dr. Nehova, thank you very much for coming today.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
I appreciate it.
I'm always at your disposal.
Thank you, sir. That is Kandy Nehova. He is one of the claimants to the presidency of RDP. He says he is the de facto president. And then, of course, we have Mike Kavekotora, who also claims the same. So Mr. Nehova came in to reflect on the subject. Thank you for watching, and good night.